Now that you know where your money is going, it's time to take the next step and categorize it. To demonstrate this, I'll begin with an example. Here, I go to my online bank account and download a range of statements from January to today, which is roughly the last 10 months. This will give me enough data to know where my money is going, but not too much data that it will take me too long to figure it out. My suggestion is to keep this exercise to between 6 to 12 months of statements. Then I will download it as an Excel file, and it will look something like this. A list of each transaction with the amount and date. Next, I will add another column titled Category, and in this category, I'll begin to create my cash flow streams. The first time around, I will do this in a lot of detail, as you saw in the first cash flow diagram. But after that detailed approach, I will group smaller streams into larger categories. For example, under the category of home and groceries, I could list purchases at Costco, Walmart, Harmons, Home Depot, perhaps Amazon. Under the category of entertainment, I could list all purchases at the movie theater, Cheesecake Factory, bowling alley, etc. These are all up to your discretion, and with practice you'll find out just what works for you. My wife and I tend to group them so they are much easier to manage and quickly visualize. Now here's one final category to decide on. And for this, once again, we'll look at Marie Kondo and her amazing but simple approach. For each spending you have categorized and listed, ask yourself, is it a fixed expense? Meaning this expense doesn't change from month to month, or is it a flexible expense, meaning this expense can be altered or even eliminated if needed? Fixed expenses don't give you wiggle room, but flexible expenses do. From this exercise, you begin to see how you're doing financially. Now let's see an example. Here we have a very simplified cash flow diagram. In the top left, you see in green is the total income that my employer pays me each month. And below it, in the same table, you see 3 fixed expenses: insurance, 401k, and taxes. On the next table below, and to the right, you see the remaining $5,319. That is what I see in my bank account each month. From that, I follow the law of tithing, and I give exactly 10% to my church. For me, that's a fixed expense. So I subtract 10%, and on the next table down, you see the remaining $4,787, along with the monthly bills. These two I consider fixed expenses. So the mortgage, HOA, insurance, utilities. Now the utilities aren't exactly $150 each month, but because I took the time to look at my past history, I know that the average cost of my utilities is just shy of $150, so I'm comfortable with that quantity. Now I subtract all my monthly bills, or those fixed expenses, and end up with the last remaining, which is $2,675, as found on the last table. Now I have my flexible expenses. You'll see $1,440 go to what is called living, and this includes food, house items, basic necessities, etc. Then subscriptions, and I have listed them as flexible because we can do without them. And lastly, you'll see in the green boxes more flexible expenses, like adding $600 to the principal of my mortgage every month, and an additional $555 that go to savings, whether that is savings or vacations or other purchases for the future. What I love about this quick table is that at a glance, it shows me that 50% of the money that hits my bank account is flexible, and more than 20% of the money that hits my bank account is straight up savings. What this tells me is that I can take a pay cut, and if I can take a big pay cut and be just fine, my job, my career, and my employer start to lose their power over me, and I begin to be free.